Have you ever wondered how the world might end? Will it be through a nuclear catastrophe or a natural disaster? Fascinating yet terrifying, isn't it? The thought of humanity's final chapter being written by our own hands or by the unpredictable forces of nature. Our planet has seen its share of calamities, both man-made and natural. The potential for a nuclear catastrophe, a chilling prospect, looms over us like a dark specter. The sheer power of nuclear technology, while a beacon of progress, also carries the potential to wipe out life as we know it. And then, we have the natural disasters. Earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and meteor impacts, nature's own arsenal of world-ending events. Unpredictable, unstoppable, and utterly devastating. As we delve into these possibilities, consider which seems more likely to you. Will our world end in a man-made inferno, or succumb to the wrath of nature? Let's explore this together. Imagine a world ravaged by nuclear catastrophe. What would that look like? A chilling question indeed. The aftermath of a nuclear catastrophe is a grim picture to paint. It's a scene of utter devastation and profound loss that goes far beyond the initial blast. At the heart of a nuclear disaster we find radiation. Invisible, silent but deadly. Radiation sickness can grip those exposed, causing nausea, weakness, hair loss, and in severe cases, even death. The land, water, and air become saturated with radioactive particles, making them hostile to life for decades, if not centuries, to come. In the wake of the explosion, we see destruction on an unimaginable scale. Buildings, infrastructure, entire cities can be reduced to rubble within seconds. The landscape, once vibrant and full of life, is transformed into a desolate wasteland. But the effects of a nuclear disaster are not just immediate. They persist, long-term, impacting the environment and human life for generations. We've seen this in historical events like Hiroshima and Chernobyl. In Hiroshima, the dropping of the atomic bomb in 1945 not only claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands in the blink of an eye, but also left a lingering shadow of radiation that affected the survivors and their descendants. Birth defects, cancers, and other radiation-induced illnesses became a grim part of their legacy. Then, we have Chernobyl, a nuclear power plant accident in 1986 that proved the world wasn't prepared for such a disaster. The surrounding area, known as the exclusion zone, still remains largely uninhabitable due to high levels of radiation. The wildlife, though surprisingly resilient, exhibits a range of mutations and health issues, a stark reminder of the disaster's long-term effects on the environment. The aftermath of a nuclear catastrophe is a grim tableau of what humanity's hubris can lead to. It's a stark reminder of the power we wield, and the potential devastation we can cause. The thought is terrifying, isn't it? But what about a natural disaster? Could that be any less devastating? Now picture the Earth rocked by a massive natural disaster. What kind of devastation would that bring? Let's delve into the cataclysmic world of natural disasters, where unpredictability meets unstoppable force. Imagine the ground beneath you shaking, buildings crumbling, roads splitting apart as the Earth's crust shifts and grates. This is the raw power of an earthquake, a force so potent it can reshape landscapes in mere seconds. Its aftermath? Cities reduced to rubble, infrastructure shattered, and countless lives disrupted, if not tragically lost. Now envisage a wall of water, a tsunami, racing across the ocean at jet speed. Upon reaching shore, it doesn't merely lap at the edges, it engulfs whole cities, sweeping away everything in its path. The destruction is immediate and complete, with homes, businesses, and lives washed away in an instant. The long-term effects? Flooded farmlands, contaminated freshwater supplies, and a community struggling to rebuild from the ruins. But what about the explosive power of a volcanic eruption? Picture ash and gas plumes mushrooming into the sky, blocking out the sun, and raining down on the land below. Lava flows, relentless and unstoppable, burning and burying everything in their path. The immediate devastation is evident, but the long-term impacts are equally alarming. Ashfall can render vast tracts of land infertile, disrupt global weather patterns, and even trigger climatic shifts. Each of these natural disasters carries its own brand of devastation, immediate and far-reaching. They ravage our environment, decimate our infrastructure, and disrupt, if not outright claim, human lives. And the most terrifying part? They strike without warning, their timing and magnitude governed by the unpredictable whims of nature. So whether it's the ground shaking beneath our feet, a colossal wave crashing onto our shores, or the sky raining fire and ash, the potential for destruction is immense. These natural disasters remind us that, while we may have harnessed the atom's power, we still stand helpless before the raw, unbridled fury of Mother Nature. Nature's wrath can indeed be as devastating as any nuclear catastrophe, but which of these scenarios is more likely? So, which disaster is more likely to cause the end of the world, a nuclear catastrophe or a natural disaster? Let's delve into the probabilities of each event occurring. While both scenarios are daunting, scientific studies, expert opinions, and historical data can help us make educated guesses. Firstly, consider nuclear disasters. Our world is a complex web of nuclear powers, and the potential for catastrophe is always present. However, the likelihood of a full-scale nuclear war is generally considered low by experts. This is due largely to the doctrine of mutually assured destruction, or MAD, which asserts that a nuclear war would be so devastating that no nation would risk starting one. Moreover, safety measures at nuclear facilities have improved drastically since the Chernobyl incident in 1986. The International Atomic Energy Agency, or IEA, ensures that nuclear facilities around the world adhere to stringent safety standards, further reducing the risk of a nuclear catastrophe. On the other hand, natural disasters are a different story. They are unpredictable, unstoppable, and unfortunately, an inevitable part of life on Earth. From earthquakes to hurricanes, tsunamis to volcanic eruptions, history is rife with examples of nature's wrath. According to the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, in the last 2 decades we've experienced a 20-fold increase in economic losses from natural disasters compared to the previous 2 decades. This trend, coupled with the effects of climate change, suggests that the frequency and intensity of natural disasters may continue to rise. However, it's important to note that while natural disasters can cause immense damage, they are unlikely to trigger an apocalypse. The Earth has weathered countless natural disasters over its 4.5 billion-year history, and life has always found a way to persist. So when it comes to the end of the world, it seems neither a nuclear catastrophe nor a natural disaster is particularly likely to be the culprit. However, that doesn't mean we shouldn't be prepared and work to mitigate these risks. While it's impossible to predict with certainty, we can make educated guesses based on available data. In the face of such potential disasters, can we do anything to survive? This question might have sent a chill down your spine, but let's not shy away from it. Can we carve out a survival strategy against these impending disasters, be it man-made or natural? Let's start with survival strategies. In the event of a nuclear disaster, the immediate response is to seek shelter, but it doesn't end there. Having a long-term plan is crucial, which includes stockpiling supplies, maintaining radiation detection devices, and planning for potential relocation. In case of a catastrophic natural disaster, preparedness is key. This might include having an emergency kit, knowing evacuation routes, and learning survival skills. But what about the unpredictability of these events? That's where scientific research comes in. Scientists are continuously working to better predict and understand these disasters. For instance, seismic researchers are developing technologies to predict earthquakes, while climatologists study patterns to foresee weather-related disasters. Similarly, nuclear scientists are working on technologies to prevent and contain nuclear disasters. However, survival isn't just about individual preparedness or scientific advancements. It's about international cooperation too. Countries need to work together for disaster management, share resources, and exchange knowledge. The International Atomic Energy Agency, for example, promotes the peaceful use of nuclear energy and prevents its use for military purposes. Similarly, global initiatives like the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction are aimed at reducing disaster risk and losses. But let's not forget, prevention is better than cure. Reducing our reliance on nuclear energy, combating climate change, and promoting sustainable practices can go a long way in preventing these disasters. While the end of the world is a grim topic, it's essential to consider these possibilities and plan for the worst. After all, our survival depends on our preparedness, our scientific advancements, and our ability to work together as a global community. So, let's face these challenges head-on, for our future and for the generations to come. Whether it's a nuclear catastrophe or a natural disaster, the end of the world would be a devastating event. We've journeyed together through scenarios both man-made and unpredictable, contemplating the likelihood of each. We've faced the chilling question of survival in the wake of such cataclysms. Yet in all this, we've discovered a profound truth. The understanding of these potential disasters isn't just about fear or fascination. It's about preparation and prevention. It's about fostering a respect for the power of nature and the consequences of our own actions. It's about cherishing the world we have while working to ensure its future. And so, we arrive at the end of our exploration, or perhaps just the beginning. For every end holds within it the seeds of a new beginning. The key lies in our hands. Remember, the end could also be a new beginning. It's up to us to decide which path we take.